Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is MTG Ghoul Dude. And today we're going to be covering the black lands for monocolor decks and decks with, less restrictions on their color, on their mana basis. So let's go on ahead and get started off with probably one of my favorites when it comes to, the castles. This is Castle Locthwain. Enters battlefield tapped unless you control swamp, which is, the gimmick for the castle lands. Taps for the color, but what it does do is it taps for one. You can tap it in 1 and 2 black to draw a card, but then you lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. This could be useful in a plethora of decks if you're trying to do life loss, if you're trying to do, you know, paying life for an effect. This could work in a myriad of different ways. And let me tell you, the being able to draw more cards is never a bad thing. Never at all. There we go. All right. Next, we move on to Lake of the Dead. Now, this one may be a very expensive pickup if you're looking to, try and, slot this into your mono black deck, because it's a very powerful card. When it comes into play, you can sack a swamp or bury it. So you basically either you sack a swamp to it or you throw it in the graveyard, which could be useful later on if you're playing like a, get Rog deck. That's pretty cool. You immediately, your land drop pays for itself pretty much. But it also taps for black, and you can tap it, sacrifice a swamp to add 4 black to your mana pool. Talk about a mana acceleration. Turn 2, kill the swamp that you had, or tap it. It doesn't come into play tap, so that's amazing. So you still have 2 mana, but then you can subsequently keep playing lands after turn 2, at best. And then, later on, okay, I need 10 mana. I'm only got 6 lands. So tap all of my lands and then sack 1. You have 6 basic swamps. There you go. And this gets even better with cards like Urborg and what's it called? Cabal Coffers, because then all of your lands are swamps anyway. So if somebody's trying to blow up your Cabal Coffers, guess what? Tap it, make all the mana, and then sacrifice it to the Lake of the Dead for even more mana. Make that mana acceleration even better. Next, we have the Blackgate from Lord of the Rings. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 3. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. About the only bad thing is this is kind of like a shock and fetch land. It's you bolt yourself for 3, but it does have a good effect besides tapping for black. For 1 and a black, you can tap to choose a player with the most life or tied for the most life. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls this turn. This can slot into decks that are looking to do the whole tyrant, or trying to make sure that the life total stays kind of even or all the way across the board. Or if you can find a way to make this one creature super deadly, guess what? If you can keep yourself low in life, guess what? You're going to start swinging and you're going to start knocking players out. So this would be, good in multitudes of decks. Voltron decks come to mind also when it comes to something like this. Also to note, you can do this for any player. So it just says choose a player with the most or tied for the most life. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls. So you can do, if you're trying to help one of your allies to knock the arch enemy down a little bit, this would be a way to do it. Moving on, we have the more budget lands for those more casual decks, or maybe not. It's a Baron Moor from my perspective. Like I said, I love these lands. These lands go great in more budget casual decks for me. That's just my opinion. But a cycling land is still great. Even ones like the Polluted Mire that have the 2 colorless, it doesn't matter what color, you can play it in multiple different decks. as long as you're willing to, cycle it. Or, actually play it as a tap land. And now we get into one of our favorites, the Peat Bog. Comes into play with 2 depletion counters on it. The depletion counters for black, as we get into colors that actually care about lands, I feel like black, green, maybe red. Those are going to be the colors that you'll see that could take the most advantage of these. Decks like the... what is his name? Lord Wingrath? Oh man, his name is just going right through me. I cannot think of his name. Lord W something. I can't remember his name. It's the Black Panther cat planeswalker from Dominaria such a long time ago. Lord Windgrace, there we go. I knew it was gonna it was gonna come eventually. But we do Lord Windgrace, decks like the I mean, even in the white ones nowadays, we have creatures that would, care about lands hitting the graveyard, like Thalia and the Gitrog monster. We have a cat playing underneath the door. Just the Gitrog by himself would, love lands like this. Especially in more casual builds where you can cycle through your lands a little bit faster. Moving on, we have the Ebon Stronghold, another one of the sacrifice lands. If you're looking for a burst of mana, later on you can tap and sack it for 2 black, or you can tap it for a regular black. Bottomless Vault is in our cycle of storage lands. Along with those, we have the Subterranean Hangar. This is the one where you have to tap to put a counter on it. And then we get into another one of those lands that are kind of good, but aren't, depending on, what you're trying to do. Because if you're trying to go fast, or if you're trying to be, use your mana lands, Hive of the Eye Tyrant is not a bad pick. If you control 2 or more other lands, it enters tapped. But it does tap to add a black, and for 3 and a black, it has the ability to turn into a 3/3 black beholder creature with menace. And whenever this creature attacks, exile target card from the defending player's graveyard, and it's still a land. And to note, if you look at this card well enough, you can actually see a beholder in the general, like if you squint, you can see a beholder. I don't know if a lot of people have noticed that, but I noticed it, a long time ago. I thought it was pretty cool. Bojuka Bog, one of those classics. If I have to explain what Bojuka Bog does, you're very new, you're relatively new, and I can't blame you, but let me tell you, Bojuka Bog is powerful, especially if you want to, just hold it just back just a little while, and then you play it when the graveyards start getting full, and that graveyard player starts getting giddy. And finally, we are going to move on to our last, the Dross Pits. And now you can run all of them, and I may have forgotten the blue one, but I feel like blue has enough card draw to where it warrants you not needing it. But the Dross Pits are really good. I would run more if I was able to. Most of the time I'm not playing, I'm not playing a lot of casual decks. But the Dross Pits are a good fit, and it does have a sphere type if you're looking for that. I mean, that's all about, what you're trying to do with the deck. But those are the lands that I chose for black if you're looking to build a mono black deck, or you're looking to build, a black with a splash of a color deck, if you're looking for different types of mana sources. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any lands that did not make the list that would fit in a general, any type of deck. But other than that, I want to tell you guys I appreciate you. I couldn't do this without you guys, and this is so much fun going through and seeing all these different types of lands that I've missed, or some that I haven't played in forever. Building casual decks. fun, but getting able to, do the hardcore thing is hardcore CDH is, just it's in me. But that is going to be it, and I'll see you guys next time in the graveyard.